Hello, my dear students. Kings of Vijayanagara. The introductional part we were completed in the previous session. Before the title of the city of Vijayanagara. Now, in the today's session, we are going to continue with the title, the Kings of Vijayanagara and the city of Vijayanagara. So, Vijayanagara, which means the victorious city of the kings, which we discussed in the previous session, and now we are continuing with the title, the city of Vijayanagara. What is the city of Vijayanagara and what are the achievements were happened in the kings in the kingdom of Vijayanagara, that we will see. The city of Vijayanagara was built on the banks of river Tungabhadra, next to the ancient temples of the Pampadevi and Sri Virupaksha. Abdul Razak says that the city had 7 rings of the fortifications. Some of these have been found by the archaeologists. Read the description of the city by the Portuguese traveller P.S. So, Portuguese traveller, one of the Portuguese traveller was collected information which was given in this passage. The king has made a very strong city, fortified with the walls and towers, and these walls are not made like those of the other cities, but are made of the strong masonry, and inside very beautiful rows of the buildings with flat roofs. You have a broad and beautiful street full of the fine houses, and these houses belong to the merchants, and there you find all sorts of the rubies and diamonds and the marbles and pearls and clothes of the every sort on the earth. In the evening you have a fair where they sell horses, vegetables, fruits, wood, etc. Archaeologists are of the opinion that the city had 4 separate divisions. The Vijayanagara has 4 separate divisions. The first one devoted to temples situated on the rocky hills. The second one on the valleys where the crops were raised using water from the irrigation canals. The third, a royal center in which the royal places are residence of the important Nayakas were located, and the fourth one allocated for the residences of ordinary townsfolk, and each area was separated from the others as shown in the map. See, there are the 4 divisions are prepared in the Vijayanagara, which are separated by the category. Like first one is for the temples, second is irrigation, third is the Nayakas, fourth is like town folk people. So these are the 4 categories. Into the 4 categories people are separated in the kings under the kingship in Vijayanagaram. Armies and militaries leaders, you would have heard and read about great wars being fought today and also about the powerful armies. Let us find out how it was in Vijayanagara times. Vijayanagara rulers invested a lot of money in the buildings, their military power. They imported a large number of the horses from the Arabia and Iran, which came in the ships to other ports on the west coast. They recruited a large army and built many strong forts. One of the important rulers, Devaraya II of the Vijayanagara, started recruiting Muslim fighters to serve him and to train him soldiers in the new modes of the warfare. He also permitted the construction of the mosque in the capital city, where the Muslim soldiers were garrisoned, which means a place where the armies are stored their camps. Garrisoned. In those days, guns and cannons had been newly introduced. The Vijayanagara kings started using the guns and cannons in their forces. The combination of the firearms and the cavalry horse riders made them one of the most powerful armies in India. So it was the initial time where the weapons, guns are introduced at the time. These all the things were used by the kings of Vijayanagara, and that was the very drastical time to prize and boost the Vijayanagara kings. Captains of the troops, the Amaranayakas, the entire kingdom was actually controlled and administered by the commanders of the armies. Let us find out who they were and what they did. Read the following account left by the Domingo Pates and about the Vijayanagara during the Krishnadevaraya's period. This king has a million fighting troops, and which include the 35,000 cavalry and horse riders ready to be dispatched to any quarter. Whenever the measures, he is the most feared king in these parts. The captains of these troops are the nobles of the kingdom, and they hold the city, the town and the villages of the kingdom. There are the captains among them who have a revenue of about 1 million gold coins and other 200, 300 or 500,000 coins. The king fixes for each according to his revenue the number of troops which he must maintain on foot, on horse and elephants. These troops are always ready for the duty whenever and wherever they may have to go. Besides the maintaining these troops, each captain has to make his annual payments to the king. Besides the troops supplied by the captains, the king has his town troops whom he pays, which means during that time the kings, if suppose they are going to any another region to warfare with them, meanwhile the situations are very demanded here, so they have to pay something to the king to either the victory or the defaultery what will come here. So defeation or victory what will come here, so they have to take the permission, they have to pay some of the amount as payment to the kings of that regions. So that was the initiative, otherwise they were not allowed to participate into that wars. The captains mentioned here were the Nayakas. These Nayakas held Amara revenue assignments, thus that is the where given the charges of the some villages and cities whose revenue they could collect and use. They had an obligation to maintain a certain number of the troops for keeping the revenue of such assignments. They also administrated the areas under the control. They had judicial powers to the power judgment and criminals and give the punishments. This was quite similar to the systems of the Delhi Sultanate, whose nobles or armies were given similar revenue assignments called iktas, which means the unity. They are prepared among them. There was the unity. That unity was made, and that unity was given the changes, and that unity also given them strength at that time. Most of the Amaranayakas were Telugu warriors. They recruited their soldiers usually from the among their own villagers or kinsmen and trained them. These armies were loyal to the Nayakas rather than to the king. Many powerful Nayakas like Saluva Narasimha or Narasanayaka controlled vast areas and at times could even challenge the Vijayanagara kings. In fact, some of them were so powerful that when a king died, they took control of power in their own hands and themselves became kings. So they controlled the regions, they collapsed the regions, and they became the kings of that regions themselves. So this was the situation. Let us compare from the previous time and now. See here, you read about how the villages were administrated in the Chola kingdom by the councils of the landholding villagers, and how the king collected the revenue from the villages with the help of these councils. Things had begun to change in the Vijayanagara Empire as the power of the armies and Nayakas increased. You saw that the control over the villages and towns was given over to these Nayakas. So this was the situation here compared to Chola dynasty and in the Kakatiya dynasty, where we have seen in the previous chapter it was completely different. Then Vijayanagara's kings, when their armies are increased, they became their self kings. When they are conquered and captured the other areas, they became their self kings. So this was the situation in the kings of the Vijayanagara. We will continue in the next session of online class Krishnadeva Raya, the ruler, and we will summing up the chapter also in next session. Thank you.